Come on, Raynard, get on up there and let's do it for Jesus. Jackson, come on out here right now. A little Daystar, yes.
Lily of the valley, let your sweet aroma fill my life. Rose of Sharon, show me how to grow in beauty clouds, make me a reflection of your life. Day stars shine down on me. Let your love shine through me in the night. Lead me, Lord, I'll follow. Anywhere you open up the door. Let your word speak to me. Show me what I've never seen before. Lord, I want to be your witness. You can take what's wrong, make it right. Day stars shine down on me. Let your love shine through me in the night. Lord, I see a world that's dying, wounded by the master of deceit. He's groping in the darkness, haunted by 2,000 years of past defeat. Oh, yes, he is. Then I see you standing near me, Lord, shining with compassion in your eyes. I pray, Jesus, shine down on me. Let your love shine through me in the night. Whoa, lead me, Lord, I'll follow. Anywhere you open up the door. Let your word speak to me. Show me what I've never seen before. Lord, I want to be your witness. You can take what's wrong, make it oh so right. I pray, day stars shine down on me. Let your love shine through me in the night. Day stars shine down on me. Let your love shine through me in the night. Jesus, shine down on me. Let your love shine through me in the night. Praise you, Jesus.
Thank you, Vern Jackson. Let me share with you a little bit now from God's Word. Let's turn to the book of Revelations. Book of Revelation. We're going to talk about Overcoming. How many of you are trying to overcome something in your life right now? Raise your hand. Okay, you may put those hands in. How many, you kind of got it down already? You got life down? Got it disciplined? You got it all together? How many? Stand up. Those of you like that, please stand up. Okay, come on. There's always some fool in the crowd. Overcoming. You know, I had my first pastor, he told me about his Christian life. He'd been serving the Lord when I met him, I think 36 years. Never been married, just in love with Jesus Christ. People thought he was kind of strange because he'd never been married. Thought maybe he was a little bit funny. But he said he was married to God. And he said being married to God, it's something else, man. I mean, you know, you can really trust your mate. He said it was something special. How many single parent families we got? Stand up if you're a single parent family, okay? Stand up, would you? Single parent family, okay? That's it. Keep standing. Mom, dad, single parent family. Praise the Lord. You may be seated. Whole lot of folks like that. And in our ministry, we address a whole lot of people that don't necessarily have dads, or the dads are in prison, locked up, or on drugs, strung out somewhere. And every day I have young people coming to me with prayer requests. Pray for their mom or their dad because their dad's locked up or their dad's on drugs, mom's strung out or whatever. Something's going on. So kids raised up in a home like that, it's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. I think about the greatest male role model, or one of the greatest in the Bible that I can think of, was King David. He just really excites me because he was a master general. He was a warrior. He was a battler for the good. I mean, he was something else. Apostle Paul's another wonderful man of God. Solomon, another wonderful man of God. Abraham, another wonderful man of God. Lots of good men that were role models for us men to look at. But yet every one of them stumbled and fell. Some in the Bible didn't even get back up again. There's something that God puts in the heart of a man and a woman and a young person. When we get saved, it's called the Holy Spirit of God, which causes us the ability to be overcomers, to overcome whatever it might be that we're dealing with. Maybe it's being raised in a home where we didn't have a Christian family. My mom or dad, either one of them were preachers or Sunday school teachers. We didn't read the Bible every day. We didn't go to church together. We didn't do any of that kind of stuff. Maybe you came from that same type of home. But there's a whole lot of people that come from homes where mom and dads are Christians and still get messed up. How come? King David, that great example of a man of God, his kids were all messed up. They were all messed up. King David's kids were what? All messed up. Wait a second, that doesn't go along, man. I thought if you're a Christian father, your kids are all perfect. Where did somebody read that? Where do we get that idea? Bible says, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And when I read the Bible, he says he continues to do that work in us, and the work stops being done, and we're completed the day of his return, and not till then. So many of you write to me and share with me about how you've blown it, how you've sinned, how you've fallen, how you can't make it, how you just can't do it, how you can't live this Christian life. Well, join the club. Join the club. Welcome to the family of God. That's what it's all about. Overcoming, not giving up. Not giving up. My first pastor, he was the greatest man of God I ever met. And yet I'd hear him stand up and say, "O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from this sinful, vile flesh?" And I would go up to him after service, go, "Why are you saying that? You're such a wonderful man of God. Why are you saying that about you? You're so perfect." And he goes, "Phil, these 30-some years that I've been coming to know Jesus Christ, the closer I get to him, the more I see the sin in my life. The closer I get to him, the brighter the light gets that exposes what a wretched man that I am. It exposes my real life, my real feeling, my real motives. Phil, the Bible is so true. There's no good thing that dwelleth within this flesh. Only the Spirit of the living God. This body battles against you and me every day of the week. This mind does warfare against the spirit every day, every moment, every waking hour and sleeping hour, every day of the week. That's why that overcoming spirit needs to be part of your life and part of my life. We introduce someone to Christ. We become a Christian. And so often people, man, I'm a Christian now. Get that Jesus sticker on our car. Get us a Bible. Start learning how to say, praise the Lord, hallelujah. And then we want a job where we can work with Christians. We're tired of working with heathen. We want to get a Christian job now. Because we know if we work with Christians, man, it'll all be cool. Then we find out that Christians aren't perfect. We should have known it all the time when we read God's word. But then we set ourselves up, we expect more than we ought to because somebody's a Christian. Well, if you're a Christian, I'm going to tell you something. Every week I try to share something personal about my life so you can see the struggles and the things that I go through. For what reason do I do that? Because I'm not ashamed of my testimony. I'm not ashamed of my testimony. Bible says we become overcomers because of the blood of who? Jesus Christ, and the word of our what? Of our testimony. A lot of people don't want to share their testimony because they don't want nobody to know where they came from. Too many preachers don't like sharing their testimony because then people find out what they were really all about. I like sharing my testimony because that's what God says to do. I like to remember where I came from. So I'll never, ever forget. And God brings people to every service that I used to sit in a garage with and pass a needle around and trade blood and shoot up heroin together. Every service, God brings people here who I've been in their face or they've been in mine, and we got down and got dirty together, and it's been an ugly situation. Every service, God brings somebody here who gets in my face to challenge me to see whether I'm going to lose my eternal salvation and squeeze their Adam's apple. Hello. That's the kind of God we have. He allows things to come against us so we can get all the garbage out and all the good stuff can rise to the top. This last week was the hardest week of my life. Every single day, there was somebody got in my face that I wanted to squeeze a big pimple off the end of their nose, in love, of course. I went to this one place and I said something to somebody I haven't said right to their face in years. I said, you know what, you're a punk. I ain't said that to a man in years right to his face like that. Because I know what that causes in men. What does that cause a man to want to do? Want to fight. And this was a Mexican, Chicano man, and you know how they are. The pride, man. Yet I said that. Can you believe your pastor say that to somebody? Well, if you couldn't before, believe it. I said, you're a punk, man. He said, what'd you say to me? I said, you're a punk. Then he had another friend come and, a little bit later I went back and I apologized to him. I went back and apologized to him. It was a tough week. I asked God for permission. God, somebody been getting in my face, and I'd like to drop my fist up to his elbow in their gut. God, I promise that's it. I promise you, God, that'll be it. You know what God said? No. He said no. I said, God, you're too much. I meet different people go, Phil, I thought you were perfect. And it reminds me of that story about that snake that was outside the door, knocking on the door. Guy opens the door. Yeah, what do you want, snake? Well, I want to come inside. Can I come inside? Well, only if you promise not to bite me. Snake says, okay, I promise. Snake comes inside. Guy closes the door. What does that snake do? Bites the guy. And the guy goes, well, I thought you promised not to bite me. The snake goes, you knew I was a snake when I came in that door. Now, before Christ, I had a nickname. It's called King Cobra. Now, that old King Cobra likes to show his face every once in a while. And I recognize some Queen Cobras here. I recognize a whole lot of queen cobras here. And the ones of you going, not me, Pastor Phil. You're the head queen. You're the mother queen. Pride's the top of God's hit list. When you can look down at anybody, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. I'm in trouble. Overcoming. Every day. Being overcomers in Christ. Bible says in the book of Revelation, turn to chapter 21. Revelation chapter 21. Talking about overcoming. Verse 7. The Bible says, God's word, he that overcometh shall inherit all things. And I will be his what? I will be his God, and he shall be my what? He that overcometh. God's put within you and within me that Holy Spirit that's given us the power to be overcomers. Whatever you're dealing with, whatever struggles you're going through, whatever has come your way that you don't like, God can make you to be an overcomer if you continue to talk to him, if you'll ask him for permission, and if you'll be honest and be real. I had to be real with God and say, hey, God, I'm not kidding you. This week, God, I feel like knocking somebody's lights out. Please, God, let me do it. I was talking to my Father. I wasn't acting like I'm a pastor, so I don't think like that. I had another guy this week get in my face. He says, you know what, man, you can't talk like. Took our kids, we did an outreach this week, went to McDonald's after the outreach. Got done, it was wonderful, praising the Lord together, witnessing, passing out flyers. And this guy is standing right outside of McDonald's. He might be here this morning, right outside of McDonald's. And my kids were coming in. I had 3 of my sons with me and a bunch of the other kids. He starts getting in my face. I remember you, man. You sent me to hell. I figured I must have sent him to the ranch or something when he said that. That's all I could think of. And he started getting all mouthy in front of everybody. Sure enough, man, I go, wait a second. This guy doesn't know what kind of week it's been for me. Guy don't understand what's happening here. He doesn't know about 1 John 1:9. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Pastor Wayne Palmer's favorite verse.
This program was sponsored by TBN and made possible by your love gifts and telethon pledges, and it can only remain on the air with your continued support. So write, Serving Jesus 24/7, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.